Yo, dude. Dude, I look like a right now. Like, oh my god, I need to get rid of that. But kind of in the Logan Paul's girlfriend angle. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna start asking for. How you guys all doing today, man? Personally, I'm tired right now, dude. I've had a long ass week. This is like the first day in a long time I've been able to actually lay in my bed. And yesterday, I worked out with Tate and Santiago. And obviously, whenever I work out with those guys, I have freaking crazy time. I feel really good, but I'm also very tired and sore, and I can tell my central nervous system is fatigued. We're gonna be training in my basement, actually, in the dungeon. So if you guys are ready for that, I don't know what to fucking do. Okay, Liver King Primals, guys. The first thing I'm actually doing today, as you guys know, I physiologically decimated my freaking back, literally herniated a disc, destroyed everything, ruptured my membranes. Everything got destroyed. Okay, they had to take me in for surgery. None of that actually happened, but you guys know I damaged my back, and it's been hurting a lot, and it comes and goes in waves. So I've kind of taken a step in the right direction in actually trying to formulate a plan in order to address this issue, because obviously chronic pain is not something any athlete wants to live in, because pain makes you have less output. It's just the nature of pain. So what I'm doing here is I'm just holding a back extension isometrically for 2 minutes. And what that's going to do is, at first I'm going to be using my glutes and hamstrings, but as I fatigue, it's going to be using some of the smaller muscles in my lower back. And overall, this is going to be something that helps rehab my lower back. And then eventually I would like to add some spinal flexion. So this is just how I'm going to start my workout. Just literally hopping on the 45-degree back extension, making sure I don't squish my testicles. And I'm just holding here for 2 minutes. So starting about right now. And I'm just chilling like this. This is what I do, okay? So what that's going to do, like I said, at first, well, actually I feel my erectors really good right now, but there's a lot of muscles underneath the erectors, tiny little muscles that help the lower back. And being able to strengthen them without, having load on them per se, I guess in a way like a deadlift or a squat where there's risk of, aggravating that spinal region, right? This is just a great step in the right direction. Of course, it's not extremely difficult. Most people could probably do this, but for someone like me who needs to address a back injury, I think this is a good step in the right direction, because a lot of the time in some of the workouts that I do, I'll feel good during the workout, and then the next day my lower back is sore. So obviously I fatigued my lower back to the point where it's not even like the muscle is sore, it's the disc actually hurts. So basically my progression is I'm starting with this. I do this almost every day, 2 minutes here, but eventually I want to be able to put one leg up and do one leg for a minute and switch and do another leg for another minute. I actually got this from the back ability guy. He had back issues, and then he actually did what I'm doing here in order to fix them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm ready to start moving to one leg, because this is really honestly easy. So I'm going to stop talking about this because it's kind of boring just to watch me hold on this. But if you have back pain, try this and see if it works for you, and slowly build into other movements. Okay, Primals, Liver Kings. This next exercise, it's my staple. It's one of my staples. I picked it up back when it was popular in 2020. The ATG split squat, dude. Now again, none of these movements really are super good for hypertrophy or strength if that's your main goal. These things are the icing on the cake to keep your body healthy. And keeping your body healthy is pretty cool, if you ask me. Especially if you're someone like me who's pounding it with shit like you're doing a lot of that type of shit, right? And you're pounding your joints every day. You want to be able to come in and kind of, get some blood in those avascular tendon areas and stuff like that. So this exercise, the ATG split squat, is supreme for that. Let me describe to you the benefits. So I'm going to start off with the fact that it can be regressed. The higher you have in elevation, if my foot was up here, the easier it is to do. So it's accessible for even a 400-pound obese man, right? But it's first thing in the morning. I'm a little bit tight, so I have a slight in elevation. Normally I do it on the ground after I've, squatted or something. So I'm usually very loose and able to do it. But what you're going to do, come upright, you're going to flex the glute of the leg that's in the back, and you're going to come down and try to touch your hamstring to your calf while letting that back knee not touch the ground. Don't let it touch the fucking ground, okay? If you let it touch the ground, a lot of the benefits are destroyed, okay? Now, let me talk about the benefits. Like I said, it can be regressed, so your grandma can do it. Another thing that's great about it, it gets really deep into this hip joint right here, right? When you're bending your knee, it gets deep into the hip. It helps the knee get into a full bend, which a lot of people can't even bend their fucking knees. And it activates the VMO. Now the VMO is this muscle right here. Okay, your quadricep has 4 heads, hence quad. And one of them, the VMO, I don't know what it stands for. It has some really cool real name. This one, I forgot what the study was done, but people who like shred their knee tendon, they had really weak VMOs. So what they did is, in this exercise, or I don't know, something about like your VMO needs to be strong if you don't want to fuck your knee up. But when your knee is in a full bend, the VMO is the main muscle being used when the knee is in a full bend, okay? So this just fucking targets the VMO, absolutely destroys it, which is great. And another thing, a lot of humans, they like to sit, right? We like to sit in our chairs, right? Because we're fucking lazy and society's going downhill. So what this does is it lengthens out that hip flexor. If you keep your back leg straight, it's gonna fucking pull that hip flexor, really get it long and really mobilize it. There's so many benefits of this exercise. I 100% recommend you do it. I'm gonna do a body weight set and then I'm gonna do some weight. I'm not gonna go super heavy again. This day isn't really super heavy for me. You can get heavier with these movements, just progress slowly. I cannot emphasize that enough. With these types of movements where you're doing really long ranges of motion, make sure you progress slowly. But I'm going to go hit some body weight set. I'm going to hit a body weight set. Then I'm going to hit some more weighted sets and hopefully drop down the elevation. So I'm going to get straight into it. Coming here, again, staying upright, core tight, coming down, trying to bend my knee all the way. You can add a little noise in, so you could be shoo, 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 shoo. And I recommend keeping your heel on the ground. Some people like to let their heel come up and really get into that knee. And it lets you get a full knee bend, yes, but I also feel like it takes out some of the hip mobility in this front leg when you just rely on having your toe up versus having to sink down into the hip. So I recommend keeping your heel down if you can. Of course, not everyone can do it, which is fine, but it is still something to consider nonetheless. And I don't know if you guys can tell from the video, but my left side is definitely a lot less mobile than my right side. So this is great for correcting imbalances as well. And human bodies are full of imbalances, even in your organs. Your liver's on one side. Liver King! So, yeah, that's just my first set. I'm going to do some weighted sets now. I'll let you guys see it. I'm not going to show all of it, obviously, because we'd be here forever. But yeah, anyway, guys. Okay, I'm a little out of breath because I just did that set, but I think an underrated thing that I forgot to mention, stability. I like single-legged movements a lot. Ever since I hurt my back, it's been really hard to squat, but I'm still able to do things like Bulgarian split squats to train the legs. Having that unilateral component in a lift for your legs is so crucial for athletes because it helps. At first, when you start doing these types of movements, you wobble, you lose your balance a little bit, but you start to build that base of stability up and you feel a lot stronger on that single leg. And I think that is a super underrated component for just overall athleticism, anything that you're doing, right? Whether it be playing a sport, grappling, especially, you know, you're on one leg, you're pushing off one leg from low ranges of motion. So I think for most athletes, this is not a movement that is gonna get you extremely strong. Or, I mean, it might supplement it, or it's not gonna get you extremely big legs, but what it's gonna do is it's gonna facilitate you to stay healthy enough to be able to do those things. And it's also gonna make you a better athlete. So that's why I like this movement a lot. That's pretty much all I had to say. I just wanted to make that point really quickly. I'm gonna finish up my last set and then we're gonna jump into the next movement, which I'm excited to show you guys. All right, so the next exercise that I'm doing is, again, it's an unweighted movement. So something really just about kind of mobilizing the hip joint, getting a stretch on the adductors, and working through an uncomfortable range of motion. But I'm doing it body weight. Basically, I'm just assuming a wide stance, and I'm doing a hip hinge. This is it, okay? And I like to progress this by spreading my legs out further and eventually adding weight. Not adding weight today. I'm not going to show too much of this exercise because it's kind of straightforward. You just basically do an RDL, like the same motion that you would do within an RDL, but with wide legs. I like to do about 20 for a couple sets. And you have your adductors here, and those are being worked through a longer range of motion. A lot of people have tight adductors, can't squat all the way down. This is going to help your squat mobility. It's going to help you get more comfortable in a stretched position. And overall, it just feels really good on the hip joint. And I feel like a lot of people don't work the lateral parts of the hip, meaning the adductor and the abductor. A lot of people focus on the hamstrings, the quad, the calf. So that's pretty much it. The straddle, RDL, I call it wide-legged RDL. There's a lot of things you can call it. It'll help you do your pancakes on the floor, like a straddle stretch, help you with those. Just make sure you keep a relatively neutral spine, not because your back's gonna hurt, but it's gonna help you actually make sure you're stretching the right muscles throughout the movement rather than compensating with rounding your back. So that's the second movement I'm doing today. So yeah, again, a really light day, but now I'm going to move on to some upper body stuff. I'm going to do my other sets off camera because no one wants to watch me do 3 sets of 20 of that. So we're going to move to the next thing, which is going to be calisthenics, and I'm going to describe why those I think are really good. So stay tuned. Next exercise I'm doing, this is all you need for it, a place to do dips and a place to do chin-ups. So the first thing that I'm doing is an ATG dip. Now, you guys know I do a lot of weighted dipping, and there's some morons in the comments, shout out to you guys, who were saying that you're going to damage your shoulder with that range of motion, blah, blah, blah. Now, I would agree with them if we never entered these ranges of motion for the shoulder. I used to have chronic shoulder pain. So this is coming from someone who had seriously painful shoulders. There was numerous times where I'm like, do I have a tear or something because it hurts so bad? In reality, I was just not really working my shoulder like it should be worked. I was stretching it a lot, doing a lot of these or whatever. ATG dips are one of these things that I've really liked to do along with working the rear delts, which we'll talk about next. But I do a lot of weighted dips with a deep range of motion, and that's because I come in here and I do ATG dips. And having free scapular mobility, having the ability to move your scaps freely in a movement is overall better for athletes because I think a lot of upper body movements, pushing, benching, stuff like that, they're great for strength and hypertrophy. You're going to build a great chest. You're going to get really strong, but you don't have the element of enhanced scapular mobility. You're able to move your scaps freely because on the bench, you're on a bench, so your scaps are locked in place pretty much. So this is a wobbly ass dip set, but watch what I do. So I come here. Okay, come down full dead hang. Just the bar. Another thing I forgot to mention, chin-ups I like more than pull-ups for mobility purposes. You still should do pull-ups. I do pull-ups. But for mobility purposes, I feel like when your arms are out in front of you rather than at your sides here, like in a pull-up, you get a deeper stretch on the lat. And overall, that's what this workout is. It's just weighted stretching. So, forgot to mention that point, but it's important. So, this next exercise, one of my favorites, behind the neck press, got demonized by a lot of people, mainly old boomers that said it's really bad for your shoulders. It's going to give you impingement and stuff. And I do agree that it has the capability to do that. Again, I'm going to emphasize this if you do not build into it. What does that mean? I remember I started these a year ago, and I would do 3 sets of 15 with just the barbell. And I would just go for the burn, and I'd just feel the muscle working. And after I got that comfortable, I started doing it more weighted. This is literally just with 10 pounds. The heaviest I've done it with is with not even that heavy, 115 pounds. So this is not a movement you necessarily have to go super heavy on. Now, if you want to go super heavy on it, you can build into it. But a lot of these mobility movements, like I said, they're not necessarily to get you super strong. They're more to supplement your actual strength. So those dips that I did are to supplement my weighted dips. This is to supplement things like overhead pressing and stuff like that. This whole workout is really just accessories. It's not really a strength workout. Like I said, my CNS is fucked right now because I had a really intense workout yesterday, which was awesome, but I like to still come in here and hit recovery stuff. So behind the neck press, I'm going to superset it with this movement that honestly, you can do these alone and you can probably have healthy shoulders. Band pull-aparts. Ideally, I'd like a rear delt machine, but of course I don't have one. So band pull-aparts, I just do them until I feel a freaking crazy burn. And yeah, pulling your scaps back, working your rear delts, working external rotation with the behind the neck press. All of these things, along with the front delts being hit in the weighted dip, or the dip here, the deep dips, all those things are gonna work all the heads of your shoulder. I do 3 sets. Of course, I'm not gonna show all of them because it's just gonna be the same thing over and over. So let's do this. So the wider you go, the more emphasis there will be on the shoulder. You can do it seated, you can do it standing. Key here though, externally rotate, get your shoulders underneath you. Don't press from here with your shoulders up. Make sure your shoulders are able to get underneath you and press like so. And I touch the back of my trap, press through, touch the back. You can go deeper if you want a bigger stretch. You can also rest it on your back, come through here, take a breath, brace, roll your shoulders back, and go again. Woo! Feels great. Come through here, grab a knee band. My rear delts and upper back are already on fire from that. And we're just pulling apart, touching the band of the chest. Oh my God. Woo! My traps and shoulders are burning. So that's that superset. I'm gonna hit that for 2 more sets, and then I'm gonna jump into the last superset of the day. I actually kind of like making this style of content live workouts. Normally I talk over the workout, but I almost feel better when I'm doing them live. Okay guys, last superset here. Pullovers, supersetted with Lou raises, or just high lateral raises, depending on what your goals are. So the pullover I really like. It's gonna stretch your lats out a shit ton, but overall it's gonna give you really good thoracic spine mobility. It's gonna open up all of this. Along with the ATG split squat, some people say this is the reverse of sitting. So sitting, you're slouched. A lot of things that we did just helped move the body out, right? Like pull everything back, protract the scapula, stand up straight, tight core, tight glutes, all these things that help with posture, which in turn are gonna help you with health. I have 45 pounds here. Pick up the friggin' dumbbell. Come through here. Now, the deeper your hips go, here versus here, is gonna determine how much of a stretch you get on the shoulders and lat. So if I'm here, I'm still getting a stretch, but not as much of a stretch as if I drop my hips. Now I really feel my chest, my back, my stomach, my shoulders, everything is being stretched. That is really gonna stretch your lats and shoulders. If we come here to Lou raises, gonna come here, start down here, come up into a lateral raise, internally rotate the shoulders, touch at the top. Now, this is a lot of front delt activation at the top, something I learned. So if you wanna just hit the medial heads of your glute, let's say you have overdeveloped front delts, or the medial heads of the deltoid, sorry. Just go to like a little bit above parallel and come down. You can really blast these out. Or if you want the shoulder mobility component too, again, a lot of the exercises we did though help with shoulder mobility. This is just another one. Coming through here, and you're internally rotating at the top. So hypertrophy, mobility, all these things are happening when you do the Lou raise. So definitely a great exercise. I recommend it very much to anyone who wants big shoulders. And that's pretty much the whole workout. Again, it's an easier workout, more or less lower intensity. Really just about getting the body nice and mobile, feeling good. If you do this in the morning, something like this, you're gonna feel really good. So yeah. All right guys, so that's pretty much the entire training session. I'm fighting in February in Louisville, a Muay Thai match, and then in December 2nd, I have a smoker. Smokers are kind of like unsanctioned fights. They're not as serious as a real fight. It's more of like a tune-up because I've been out of the ring for almost 2 years, which is wild to think about. It's kind of sad. But, dude, thank you guys all for watching the video. Seriously, I really do like making content. I keep saying this over and over. I reiterate it in every video. This is what makes me happy. I love training. I love getting better physically. It's my dream to become a professional athlete or be able to facilitate something off of this. Hope you guys enjoyed that style of content. If you did, let me know. I could start making other workouts. That was, again, like my easy workout. I do a lower body strength and an upper body strength day. I do a plyometric explosive athleticism day, and then I do my mobility day. So if you guys like this style of content, let me know down below in the comments, or just like the video. I'll understand the reception. Thank you everyone who watched the video. I'll see you motherfuckers later. Liver King out. Liver King.